What's up, everybody? Welcome back inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. It's time for 4 Downs. It's Matt Parker. It's Tim May. I'm Spencer Holbrook. Let's do bold prediction, offensive player of the game, defensive player of the game, and a score prediction. You guys know the drill at this point. It's week 2. Ohio State, Arkansas State at noon in the Horseshoe on Saturday. The spread is 44.5. We'll get that out of the way now. The total is 68.5. But before we get into that fun stuff, we're going to go bold prediction. Matt, first bold prediction, Ohio State versus Arkansas State.
I was pretty bold last week by saying I believe it was 250 on the ground, but I'm going to stick with being, out there bold. First play from scrimmage, touchdown.
On which side? Oh, for Ohio State?
Yep.
Okay.
Ohio State's first possession, first play from scrimmage, it's going to be a touchdown.
Okay. All right. Well, that was short, sweet, and to the point. Tim, go ahead. You might be able to get away.
That was going to be mine. No,
you might be able to get a few more words.
By the way, I thought that was a good. If they had played in the first half like they played in the second half, they'd had 300 yards rushing.
I felt very confident
me?
About that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then finally Ryan Day said, hey, you know what? We're not really getting it done through the air. Let's do it. I mean, so I'm giving you props because in my opinion, the difference in that game was their running game in that second half. With that said, my bold prediction would be that C.J. Stroud will have a minimum 4 touchdown passes in this game. Heck, who knows? One may come on the very first play.
If it's on the first play, I'm going to high five you all the way from the field.
Yeah, because C.J. Stroud has some makeup to do with all these Heisman watchers who don't look at whether you won or lost, but how many yards did you throw up there? 250, I guess, is not enough.
Sounds like idiots to me if you ask me.
250 and whatever it was and 1 touchdown.
I think it was 24 completions for, I think it was just 223, but he had 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
So maybe if he has 4.
I was close on all my numbers.
Yeah, if he had, there you go, Tim. Close on accounts and horseshoes, hand grenades, and passing stats, apparently. So let's go to my bold prediction. Last week I went on the defensive side. I think I'm going to stay over there. I think Ohio State's going to give up negative rushing yards in this game. That's pretty bold, but at the same time, I don't think it is because rushing yards are a sack stat too. I think Ohio State will get after James Blackman. He tries to be elusive. He is an elusive guy, but he also has shown in his few years as a starter, not only at Florida State, but at Arkansas State, that he's prone to take some sacks and he doesn't get rid of the football quick enough. Then you've got a couple running backs, transfers, who I do like. I like Brian Snead, who used to be here at Ohio State.
Yeah.
A couple other guys in that backfield. But at the same time, this Ohio State run defense is out to prove an absolute point. And when you put them against Notre Dame and limit Notre Dame to what it can do on the ground, it's not like Arkansas State's going to present a tougher challenge. So if you put the passing or the sack stats in with the rushes, I'm going to say Ohio State gives up negative rushing yards in this game.
Well, Arkansas State is going to try to run the ball, though. Count on it.
Yeah. No, I believe it, and I think Ohio State's going to try to stop it. So now we move on.
Now we got a game.
Yeah. Now we got to move on to offensive player of the game. Matt, I guess whoever scores on the first play should be the offensive player of the game. I guess you have to say who it's going to be.
Well, a couple of things to that run game.
You don't have to commit yourself.
No. But I just want to say this. They will try to establish the run. Ran for 339 yards last week against Grambling State.
Exactly.
So that's a good prediction.
You said a lot in that sentence.
It's pretty bold.
I'm a man of few words.
Yeah.
But as far as offensive player of the game, I guess it does have to be who's going to score the first touchdown. And I'll go with Mayan Williams. He kind of really took a leadership role last week in that backfield. A very good balance between him and Travion Henderson last week. But there was just that step, that extra step to Mayan last week, on being down on the field where I was at, field level, a little bit different from what you guys are seeing up in the box probably. I get to feel a little bit more of the atmosphere and, on that long run that could have been a touchdown run.
Yeah,
should have been.
Where he stepped out of bounds. No person was more frustrated, visibly frustrated in the stadium than Mayan Williams. So I expect him to maybe break off and stay inbounds this time.
My offensive player of the game.
Wait, I thought I was next, but go ahead.
Yeah, you just skipped
Go ahead.
Tim?
Go ahead. Tim.
No, you go ahead.
I was just messing with you.
Yeah.
It's all you.
C.J. Stroud, next.
Oh, because of.
I think he's gone. I mean, I think that watching the videos of both opening games for the opponent and for Ohio State, things are going to be there for C.J. Stroud to carve up this situation from a passing game standpoint. He's got receivers who have experience under their belt now. I expect C.J. Stroud to have a hell of a game. I don't know what else I need to say.
Tim, I'm going to give myself a little bit of credit for last week just because I'm the host here. Paris Johnson played an incredible game from the left tackle spot against Isaiah Foskey.
I'm doing this because you can't talk and pat your back at the same time.
Thank you, Tim. He did a great job on Isaiah Foskey. I said he was going to be the offensive player of the game, so give myself a point for that. Hopefully you guys can add some points here in this week. The offensive player of the game this week will be Cade Stover. He was targeted 3 times last week. 3 nice catches, including a one-handed snag that helped keep Ohio State in front of the chains. I don't expect Ohio State to throw the ball a lot to the tight end. I don't expect Cade to have 3 catches in every game. But I do believe that if Jackson Smith-Njigba can't play, if they're going to hold out Julian Fleming, which I'm not sure if they will or not, and if C.J. Stroud is going through his progressions and it's Emeka Egbuka and Xavier Johnson and Marvin Harrison Jr., there are opportunities in this passing game for a guy C.J. trusts, and that is Cade Stover. I know that relationship is good. So I think Cade Stover, maybe he has a couple touchdowns. Maybe it's just 1 touchdown, but I think he's going to be the offensive player of the game. Whether that's in the run blocking or in that passing game, that's just a little aside for me. I think he's going to have a nice day.
That reasoning lasted almost as long as some of the State of the Union speeches I've heard presidents make. Go ahead.
Thank you, Tim. Defensive player of the game, Matt. I guess you have to be quick.
If we're doing some cracks, Tim has seen a lot of those. So.
Yeah, I have, man.
Go ahead.
I'll keep it right to it, but I'm going to go All-American cornerback Denzel Burke. You mentioned how this defensive line is really going to get after it. James Blackman, he's an elusive player. He's going to stretch the pocket. He's going to move around. And against this front 7, that's going to force some errant throws. We didn't really see Denzel Burke get targeted a lot last week, and that's simply because that wasn't Notre Dame's game plan. They have the...
Wait, you didn't see that play?
No, I didn't.
Where the guy catches the ball laying on his back?
They have...
Denzel Burke just kind of goes...
Dang.
Notre Dame had a lot more of an ability to, go mano-a-mano, firepower versus firepower, whereas Arkansas State is not going to leave anything behind. They're going to put everything on the table. They're going to, unfortunately, have to test an All-American cornerback. So maybe an interception, pass breakup here or there, but Denzel Burke is going to get some action his way, and that's my player of the week.
Tim. Well, for the same reasoning, I'm going with Lathan Ransom. I really liked his debut as a full-timer last week. I think he picks up from there. He does play the game at a high level, and as Jim Knowles said, and this is my favorite thing to say after Jim Knowles said this, he sees the forest. He sees the forest, not just the trees. And I added, he also takes a chainsaw into that forest. I like Lathan Ransom to have another stellar game and maybe get a few of those picks.
That's good reasoning for both of you guys. But my bold prediction from the beginning of this show can't come true without a few sacks. JT Tuimoloau was nearly unblockable in the first half.
JT Tuimoloau.
Anyways, he was almost unblockable, and he didn't make as many plays as you would think. But go back and watch that game. Like, that guy moves tackles. It is not easy for a defensive end to move large 300-pound human beings the way JT Tuimoloau makes it look.
I'm not interrupting you. I'm just saying I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like doing an amen as you're preaching.
Well, I'm going to keep preaching here. He's very, very good at what he does. And it was only a matter of time, that quarter second, that he needed more to have 3 or 4 sacks. Not just 1 or 2, but 3 or 4. And if you have a quarterback that's not Notre Dame caliber back there playing, and obviously wasn't Florida State caliber, he's going to hold on to the ball a little more. I think JT Tuimoloau could have 2 or 3 sacks in this game and probably come close to a few more. That's why he's my pick for defensive player of the game, and I don't really think I have to say anything else.
No, thank God. No, go ahead.
Matt, this is supposed to be a 15 to 20 minute show. I don't know why you're limiting me.
I'm messing with you.
We're just rolling here.
Matt, the score prediction, like I said, I set the table earlier. Let's go back through it. The game is at noon.
Yes.
It is in the Horseshoe. It is on Big Ten Network. This has nothing to do with the final score of the game. Ohio State is a 44.5, 45-point favorite. Shop around, folks. Get it whatever number you like. The total is set at 68.5. Vegas thinks this is about a 49 to 17. No, yes, 49-17 game, something in that realm.
No, it doesn't if it's a 45-point favorite.
What do you think it is?
Ooh, well,
That's true. I messed that up. I'm not a math major, folks.
You take the spread. You know what I mean? You take the spread away from the of the over under. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you cut what's left in half, and then you got your score.
Go ahead.
all of that to say, I'm winging it, baby. Here's what I'm thinking for the score. Ohio State's going to have to get out big and early, like they should try to do every single game. There's going to be, I heard that note. I was standing in the back. I heard that note. There's also going to be, it's going to be an offensive game. We saw how great the defense was last week, and maybe there's a little bit of a hangover from their performance. Maybe there's not. It's a noon game, so on and so forth. Cut through the chase. I'm going to say Ohio State 47, Arkansas State Red Wolves. Nice mascot name. Real side note. 14.
47,
Somehow they
14.
score more points than Notre Dame.
I made a vow. You heard me, I think, in the press box on Saturday. I am no longer picking scores.
Tim sitting
Vegas
this one
had
out.
it totally wrong last week on Ohio State Notre Dame, except if you just take the amount that Ohio State won by 21-10, extrapolate it basically to my pick, which I think was 45-23. It's the same percentage of difference between the two, but nowhere close to what the prediction was. So I'm no longer picking a score. I will say this, I think Ohio State covers.
So we'll just chalk Tim down for about 52-6, and then we'll just call that a day.
No, I did not say 52-6, and I will debate that in court.
I'm going to go Ohio State 59-7. I don't think this game's close, but I do think that Arkansas State. So, full disclosure, we talked to Mitchell Gladstone, who's kind enough, the Arkansas Democrat, was kind enough to give us a few minutes on a video earlier this week, and he mentioned that Arkansas State would do everything it could to get Brian Snead into the end zone at Ohio State.
Yeah.
I think Arkansas State will do that, and that'll be the only score they get.
You know the reason Brian Snead was no longer at Ohio State after his first year?
Yeah, it was
all Brian Snead's fault for the most part.
Whatever it was, we're not going to hash that out on this show.
Okay, I know, but I mean, if there's ill feelings,
No, yeah, I know that, but I do think
what do you want to call it, the student or whatever it is, disciplinary board is what kind of meted out the sentence for him after some charges were brought, but then the person in question opted not to pursue those charges. But Ryan Day, I don't think wasted a whole lot of time and said maybe you ought to go look and go play somewhere else. He went to a junior college, then he went to Austin Peay, and now he's at Arkansas State, and you wish him the best, man.
Yeah.
Getting the job done and keeping things clean. So there you go on that. But
I guess we are going to hash it out on here. But
well, we're not hashing it out, but I mean, this idea that he's got some chip on his shoulder about Ohio State,
I think
sometimes chips are put on the shoulder by yourself.
I think it's a little more of just a homecoming of sorts for him, being back where he started his college career. I
thought he was a hell of a talent too. Go ahead now.
I do think Arkansas State will try to get him in the end zone in this game, and so I think that's the only time they're going to score. I think C.J. Stroud's going to put up great numbers. Trayvon Henderson didn't get to that 100-yard mark. I know that's something he wants to do every week. He will get there this week. Mayan Williams could get there too. This offense could have a field day. I'm giving a reasoning for a score prediction here.
No, I mean, I'm just the 250. I mean, you just kind of validated it for my man over there. And so, Dallin Hayden plays some too, right?
Yeah, Dallin Hayden will probably get the ball some in this game, and probably next week against Toledo too. But that's a story for another week. Next week, actually. Yeah. So 59-7 Ohio State. 3 covers of the spread. I don't think you could make the spread high enough. I think Ohio State would like to make sure. Easy for me to say. Everyone knows that this offense is not broken. In fact, it just had a night.
Dude.
And so,
yeah, I mean, I would not call this offense broken at all. A broken offense is when your passing game isn't working and you don't have a running game to lean on. This team, I thought, showed its depth in that game against Notre Dame when this wasn't working. Hey, wait a minute though. We still got these 2 running backs. We got a hell of an offensive line, and they took care of business. That's showing you the depth of this football team and how far it's come in 1 year, because they leaned on a running game that would kind of like was not there like they would have liked it to have been in 2 of their biggest games last year. They leaned on it the other night, and then on top of that, the defense shut out Notre Dame in the second half. I think they feel pretty good about this offense.
Well, I do too.
I'm just saying. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the naysayers out there,
If you want to watch a broken offense, go watch Clemson, folks. That thing is terrible.
They got it going.
So-
Yeah, may I make a question or ask a question here real quick?
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I talk a little just recruiting real quick?
Sure, go ahead, by all means. Arkansas State, Ohio State, huge recruiting weekend.
Well, allow me to make a point and then explain it. There's going to be an opportunity for a lot of younger players on this Ohio State team to play, to make an impact. And as a recruit, I think it would be, wise. There's a lot of big games that are happening this weekend, a lot of visits that are happening across the country. But, for any recruit that's out there that's not at a big game or at a big game but looking for something to do, if you somehow can access the Big Ten Network and you want to watch Ohio State and see, someone that is a year older than you, 2 years older than you, really play in the offensive and defensive systems, I feel like that's a lot easier way to envision rather than seeing an experienced, 3-year, 4-year kind of guy. So,
Texas, Alabama had Texas starts at noon Eastern time too. So,
And Ohio State, Arkansas State might be a better game than that.
That's true.
We're not here to talk about Ohio State, we are here to talk about Ohio State, Arkansas State, not Alabama, Texas, and maybe a little recruiting. Thank you, Matthew. But that is Matthew Parker. That is Tim May. I'm Spencer Holbrook. This video got a little off the rails, and that's quite okay, guys. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have a lot of fun on there. We make videos almost daily. Make sure you check us out at the Lettermen Lounge. We answer subscriber questions anytime we can. Anytime you guys have them, make sure to throw them out there. You can get the entire site, articles, videos, message board access for $1. For $1 for the entire year. That's a hell of a deal, I think, guys. I'm not going to speak for you, but that is a great deal. At lettermenrow.com. Again, that's Tim, that's Matt, I'm Spencer. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the Horseshoe on Saturday afternoon.